Alright, as many of you know, I'm a huge fan of Mario Kart. And I thought for a while about doing a list of the best Mario Kart tracks, but I thought that would be boring because most of the tracks would be from 2 or 3 games. So I decided to talk about the best and worst track from each Mario Kart game. But there's only one rule that is constant, anyway. I cannot select the Bowser Castle tracks or the Rainbow Road tracks at all. Super Mario Kart was the first Mario Kart game, and it is definitely my least favorite, even though I didn't rank it as my least favorite. But after having played this in Super Circuit, I can definitely say it's my least favorite. Several of the tracks are really bad, so choosing the best and worst was really hard, and not for a good reason. Track in this game is Mario Circuit 2, and it's actually kinda good. I know, that's kinda hard to imagine in Super Mario Kart, but I do have fun when I play this course. It's pretty easy, but the turns are fun and challenging enough for a Mushroom Cup course. And at the end, you take a sharp turn and go over the jump. Even though it's better in the Mario Kart 7 version, it's still fun in the original SNES version. But you don't want to hear me keep on talking about the best. No. You want me to hear the worst. And yeah, the worst track in this game may be the worst track in the series. And I hate it. Yep, it is none other than Vanilla Lake 2. Vanilla Lake 1 was bad enough. This course is an atrocity. It is. No other word can describe it. It is well, actually, yeah, another word could describe it. Train wreck. And okay, let me actually get to why I hate this course. So, to start, it's NASCAR. You go left the whole time. There are no interesting turns, and there are very few shortcuts. So most of the track is pretty boring. Oh, that's not enough to make my point clear? Okay, you're on ice the whole time. And the snow basically makes you slow down to a crawl. So 100% of the race you are out of control. And then there's the water. This massive crater is there for the entire race. And if you fall in the water, it's not just like normal water where you can get out and move on. You are slower than you are normally, and you are almost guaranteed to lose several positions. I know this is a special cup, but this is more troublesome than Rainbow Road. And some people say Donut Plains 3 is worse, but I don't have that much trouble with it. But for the most part, if I play this in Mario Kart, this is where my cup ends. It's where the game ends, and I have to start all over again because of this stupid game over system. Choosing my favorite track from Mario Kart 64 was a total joke. It's pretty obvious which one my favorite is. Mario Desert from the Mushroom Cup again. So, basically the whole point of this track is that you are in the middle of a desert, which is pretty original for Mario Kart. But, also, there is a train that is going through the track. And this train actually requires you to use the B button. Normally I don't like that, but it's actually done okay here. Wow. And because it's the Mushroom Cup track, yeah, it's kinda easy turns aren't too tough. There aren't many obstacles unless you're a total dingus. And overall, it's a pretty breezy ride. But it's still tons of fun nonetheless. Oh, and the best part has to be the music of this track. I'd say this track is the best track in the Mario Kart 64 soundtrack. Yeah, eat your heart out, Rainbow Road. And as for my least favorite track, that's also kinda obvious. Well, not obvious, but it was really easy to pick. Least favorite track from this game is Yoshi's Valley.
Hang me for it.
Man, I hate this track so much. As you can see on the top left, you can't even see who's leading. Until, you know, they're already there and you're so far behind because you're falling down the pits all the time. What usually happens is that the 4 people finish before you can get to the finish line, and you end up getting 7th or 8th all the time. And that's because of the branching paths, which is actually an okay idea. It just doesn't work for the Nintendo 64 because, well, you don't know where you're even freaking going. And the shortest path is usually the hardest one, and that's kind of hard to measure because all of the AI rubber bands so darn much. And I know that this is from the Special Cup, but I only ever lose in this stage because of Nintendo 64's incompetence. And it's never, ever fun. Even for a stage on the Special Cup, it is way too hard. Seriously. Oh, and you know exactly what happens if you don't get first place. Or if you don't get at least 4th place in one of the older Mario Karts. Yep, you have to retry the match. From the very beginning. Which means you're going to have to go through this torture at least a few times. And then there's Mario Kart Super Circuit. Thankfully, a lot of the courses in this game are better than the ones that are bad, unlike Super Mario Kart and maybe even Mario Kart 64. I'm not so sure about Mario Kart 64. But choosing the worst was not that easy, for good reason. Even though this is one of my least favorite games still, it's definitely not my least favorite either. Yeah. Putting it last was a mistake. Alright, the favorite for this game is Cheeseland. That was an awkward sentence, but whatever. This is my favorite track in the game for a few reasons, but the best thing about this is that it's a course made entirely of cheese. There are cheese mounds, cheese mountains. Even the moon in this track is made of cheese. And fittingly, every single obstacle that moves in this track is a mouse. I mean, why wouldn't it be? But, simply put, the track just looks delicious. And not only does it look delicious, it's fun to play on. So, there are a few jumps, sure, but my favorite part has to be the turns that go before the jump. It's just really fun to make a 270 just to make a jump, and then make another one. I mean, it didn't even have to be here. It was just added. My only gripe with this course is that it's a little on the short side. But then again, most tracks in Mario Kart Super Circuit are pretty short. Okay, so my least favorite course in this game is Snowland. This was a decision I made between this track and Broken Beard. I chose this one because at least Broken Pier doesn't make you go through a freaking seizure through the entire course. Seriously, ice is supposed to be smooth. It just makes no sense at all. And worst of all, the turns are boring. There aren't many shortcuts, and it's just not fun. Definitely the worst track in the game. But on the bright side, unlike Super Mario Kart and maybe even Mario Kart 64, most tracks in Mario Kart Super Circuit are really good. So picking a worst one wasn't that easy. Mario Kart Double Dash was released for the GameCube, and it's the most unique game in the series so far. Even to this day, two men carts have not returned in the series. And with the uniqueness of the gimmick comes with the courses too. These are some of the most unique courses in the series. And choosing a worse one wasn't that hard for a good reason, thank goodness. Favorite course from Mario Kart Double Dash is Yoshi's Circuit. Okay, so for the first time in this entire video, I had trouble deciding the best, but not the worst. But that doesn't matter. What really matters is why I like Yoshi's Circuit so much, especially since it's a circuit track. It can't be too good. Well, look in the top right corner. The track is shaped like a Yoshi. Don't even try to deny it. That is awesome. Okay, novelty aside, I guess I should probably talk about the course itself. And having a course shaped like a character is more fun than it might sound like on surface. All the turns are nice. It's just a really fun track. But there are also two really awesome shortcuts. At the beginning, you can use a mushroom to cross this gap, and then later on in the course, right where Yoshi's eye should be, you can use a mushroom right here to go through an alternate route. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I really like the shortcuts and how they just kind of make the ride different. The obvious pick for worst is Sherbet Land. If you've noticed a trend, I hate ice courses. That shouldn't be too surprising. Most gamers don't. But this one is especially bad. So everything's slippery and out of control, sure, but you know, wanna know what makes this worse than most of the others, besides Vanilla Lake? Don't worry, that one's still worse. This section. In this section, if you touch one of those freezy things, you will freeze, and you will slide out of and you are out of control. And since it's been forever since I last played Mario Kart Double Dash, I can't remember if you're invulnerable to items or not, but being frozen and unable to move is not fun. Ever. So why do it? At least in the Mario Kart 8 version, those freezy things just break and make you spin out instead of what they do here. In fact, in Mario Kart 8 as a whole, the course is just a lot better. The next game in the series, Mario Kart DS, had some of the best tracks in the series, and also some of the worst. But choosing between one track and the other for first place was not easy at all. The two nominees being Waluigi Pinball and TikTok Clock. And just as a note, the worst track is not going to be from the Mushroom Cup, because then my answer would be way too predictable. So instead, I'm going to look in another cup for the worst. So, roll clip. And that is Waluigi Pinball. Oh my goodness, this is so hard to decide. But yeah, Waluigi Pinball is slightly better than Tick-Tock Clock. First off, it takes place in the pinball machine, which I love pinball machines and air hockey machines, but pinball machines seem to be a lot more common. And basically, the track is just a lot of fun to play. Of course, both tracks are incredibly well designed, but which is what my verdict came down to, but Waluigi Pinball was slightly better and slightly more like an actual pinball machine. All the turns are really fun to drift around. There's just a perfect amount of obstacles. It's just awesome. And the Mario Kart 7 remake, I can't remember what it's like, but I remember it's not too much different. But even then, it's still awesome, and it's my favorite retro track from that game, besides Calamari Desert. Desert Hills isn't by any means an awful course, but it is so out of place in the Flower Cup, it's not even funny. The track is ridiculously short, taking only around 30-35 seconds to finish a single lap. Not only that, but none of the turns are really all that fun, and it's just boring. I mean, this would have been fine as a Mushroom Cup course, but in the Flower Cup, it has to be the worst course outside of the Mushroom Cup itself, which was pretty awful in this game. Mario Kart Wii is my favorite game in the series, which is a statement that not many people seem to agree with. But nevertheless, this game has some pretty awesome tracks. And one particularly awful one that you'll see in a minute. So let's just get into it. Anyways, out of all the tracks in Mario Kart Wii, my favorite is Toad's Factory, which may be a bit of a surprise to some of you, but yeah, it just kinda is. I mean, the location is pretty unique for a Mario Kart, especially for a Mario Kart track. There's multiple twists and turns, moving platforms, and then at the end of it all, there's even a bit of a dirt bike section. And yeah, it's all really fun. The only thing I'd say against it is that it's a little bit too short, but this is a Mushroom Cup, so it's kind of fitting. Oh, and let's not forget about the conveyor belts. I don't know, just wanted to point it out that I really like those things. And my least favorite track is Moonview fucking Highway. Man, I hate this track so much. So let's get this out of the way. You know how much I hate ice tracks, but I also hate, even more than those, traffic courses. And Moonview Highway is the biggest offender. First, the traffic moves way too fast, and its motions are too unpredictable. This means you're going to run into the cars a lot. Then there's the freaking bomb carts that appear out of nowhere, and if you touch them, or your opponents are too stupid, you'll get caught in the explosion and lose several positions. Now, of course, there is an easy way to avoid all of this, which is to ride the boost pads, but there's still the traffic that will always get in your way. Always. I have not played a single race without touching one of those cars. Shortcuts aren't even that helpful on this track. And, you know, Mushroom Gorge, which is also a track in this game, is really hard and out of place, considering that it's in the Mushroom Cup. But at least I have some fun with that track, even though I lose even more often in that one. But Moonview Highway is so hard, and it's not fun either. Like any other Mario Kart, 7 has some really good tracks and some really bad ones. But none of them really, I don't know. None of them really stuck to me as super awesome or super terrible, unlike Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart DS. Okay, please remember that I have excluded Rainbow Road and Bowser's Castle from the equation. Please! Music Park, also known as Melody Motorway, is just an awesome track. Basically, you're in a huge area filled with tons of instruments, including pianos, trumpets, drums, music notes. Yeah, I think everything's covered here. Each twist and turn is fun, and yeah, it's just a fun course, as always. There's not really too much to say here. Well, I mean, I could talk about the head-bopping piranha plants. Those are cool. Alright, this next move may be a bit cheap. But it's Cheep Lagoon. This is the first track in the game to introduce one of the game's main gimmicks, which is being able to go underwater, which is a pretty lame gimmick in my opinion. But anyways, Cheep Lagoon is just not that special, like at all. I know this is a Mushroom Cup, but even then, even Cheep Beach from Mario Kart DS was better. I wish there was stuff to talk about here, but there isn't. I mean, there's a couple of clams, there's a few places where you can do some cool tricks, and there's even a gliding section. But, man, this track is just so empty. I guess at least it's pretty to look at. That's the plus, I guess. Even though Mario Kart 8 isn't my favorite game in the series, which shocked my friends when I showed them this video that I uploaded last, I have to say, this game has some pretty awesome courses. Choosing my favorite was hard, and choosing my least favorite was also hard. Although, to be honest, this game doesn't exactly have the best Rainbow Road, the other tracks definitely make up for that. But regardless, let's play the clip. Hey, look, we're back in the Mushroom Cup again. But seriously, how could I not talk about this course? Sweet Canyon is just so sweet. I mean, seriously, it has a name twice. What else would you expect? But in all seriousness, this track is just awesome. And I think out of all the courses, it does the best job at demonstrating the anti-gravity, as seen right here. But twists and turns are fun, there's a couple of cool shortcuts, and it just looks delicious, much like Cheeseland, which got a remake in this game, by the way. And now it looks even more delicious in this game. Thankfully I'm eating food, so I'm not going to starve while talking about this course. Maybe you guys will, but I don't know. It's your fault for not bringing food. Alright, the title speaks for itself. Bone-Dried Dunes is so boring. I mean, seriously, oh my goodness, this is depressing, especially after seeing Sweet Canyon. But that's not the only problem. Well, actually, it kinda is. But it just feels lazy. Not just graphically, but design-wise as well. I mean, seriously, and this is in the special cup. The special cup. Oh my goodness, I just realized. Wow. Yeah, this may just be the worst Special Cup track ever, besides, what's it? Space. Vanilla Lake 2. But using that would be cheating. But it is easily also the most out of place Special Cup track. Oh my goodness. Okay, I better stop.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
So I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, make sure to leave a big thumbs up and do all that stuff that you want. And until next time, bye bye!